My name is Gareth. I was a patient in St David's Hospital in Carmarthen. In fact, I've been there on two occasions. My first date I was there was in 1982, which seems quite a long time ago now. And then I'm afraid I had to have a second visit, and that was in 2001. My first time in 82, I was there for, roughly about a month. And the second time in 2001, I was there for about 6 weeks. I bet you think it's quite hard for me to think back all those years, but it was a traumatic time in my life, and I think you never forget those times, and it's embedded in your mind really. And I remember the first time I was there in 82, I was very, very ill. I was in a catatonic state, and I really given up on everything. I was so depressed. Luckily I was taken onto the ward. And like I say, I was in that catatonic state, and I had to be really looked after by the staff, and they had to wash me, bath me, feed me, and to keep me alive. And that's the state I was in then. It was a funny sort of a setup, really. It was like the old hospital in the 70s, and they hadn't changed a lot, really. It was about, I can see it now. I can see I was in a male room, and there were about 6 or 7 males with me in a big room. And if you can imagine, they had the pull round curtains like they do in hospitals now, and they had their little, all I had was one shelf, and that's where it was really. But it's funny how you can remember things really, and I can remember that it was like a lot of BO because of the patients there. Nobody, it was hard to bath and wash and things to get motivated to do that. That's one thing I do remember. The other thing is that the windows were left open quite a lot because of that problem. There's a lot of burping and other things going on there. I remember that as well. It was the old Caldicothy ward. There was one side for females and another side for males. And yeah, I think I was by myself when I first went in, isolated in my own room. But when I started getting better than that, I went onto the ward with the other people. I can always remember people who were quite kind to me and things, and trying to get me to talk and trying to get an interest for me. And I do remember one gentleman who realised that I had an interest in rallying, and he himself had a rally car outside, and he took me outside and he put me in the car, and I can remember that to this day. My first time I was taken in this very depressive catatonic state, I was completely different the second time. I was manic, I couldn't stop talking, I was jumping from one subject to another, and I was taken in because I had the diagnosis of bipolar, which I didn't know when I first went in, but that was diagnosed later on. So really my whole attitude was different, wasn't it? There was two different sides of me, and I can remember the first time I was taken in, a male nurse who looked after me was also there to greet me at the door the second time, and he is still working in mental health to this day, and he was absolutely marvellous. And it was strange really. I remember looking at him and seeing him as this young boy with nice cut hair and things, and they all used to go around in these white coats, which is the old asylum thing. And the second time I went in, then there he was. He had more casual clothes on, and he had a ponytail. But I still recognised him after all those years, and he recognised me as well. So that was quite comforting, that there was someone who knew my past, and I knew him as well. I think the good thing about the old St David's, it has changed now because it's more of a council site, a lot of council people on it. But what has changed then, that I was taken out for a walk around the grounds, or I could go around myself, and it was such a peaceful site. There wasn't the cars about or the people. And you could go anywhere. Whereas now it's more restricted, and it's quite a bustly place now. The amount of beds on the site has drastically dropped. At first, I think everybody was thinking that was a terrible thing, but it is manageable now. But I always feel that if people have a problem like I did with a severe mental illness, that they're catered for and there's a place for them. because my condition, I could not have been managed at home.